Welcome back everyone to yet another Revopoint video. Happy to have you here with us today. As you can see, we are standing outside. We are not in the studio. So this is a very historic moment. We're doing our first scan outside. Typically it's very difficult for scanners to capture imaging outside because of the brightness affecting the scanner. But with our new Inspire 2, it's capable. But just a reminder, up to 20,000 lux. So to put that in perspective, middle of the day, summertime, sunny, direct sunlight is about 100,000 lux. So right now, it's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We're behind this tall building, right around 20,000 lux. We should be okay. But another thing to keep in mind with Inspire 2 when scanning outside is add these. I like to call them the Inspire 2 sunglasses. Those need to be put on the lenses of the scanner itself. They go on real easy. Just simply screw them on. Just like that. And there you go. And because the 2-in-1 cable that typically would work with a lot of phones, my phone is a little bit too old, so it does not work. So I need to be on the same Wi-Fi as Inspire 2. So that's easy. You just make sure you select Inspire 2 Wi-Fi and the two devices are linked. But something I should keep in mind, some people, if they're using a phone like mine, they might get a little annoyed that you have this extra cord here. So they might go out and purchase their own USB that will plug directly into the power source and into the back of Inspire 2. But just a warning to you all, you can do that, not a big deal, but it's nice. The stock one here has this locking device just to assure that this is not going to be pulled out while you're doing any scanning. So if you do go and buy your own USB, it might get pulled out in the middle of your scan. It's not going to hurt the scanner itself, but it'll just be irritating. So it's totally up to you, but I'm fine with having the stock one and just keeping this extra cord in my hand like that. All right, so as I mentioned, already linked up properly to the correct Wi-Fi. Now it's just a matter of selecting outdoor object in the settings. Accuracy high, tracking feature. Not doing a color scan. Okay, good to go. Let's have a whirl at this then. I'm at exposure 3. About done. Capture a few more point clouds on his head here. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay. Let's edit this. Click the check mark. Yeah, looking pretty nice. So let's just go through the fusion process. Advanced sounds good. So here, as you can see with Revo Scan, it doesn't let me select the distance exactly. You just have the standard advanced setting. So apply. It naturally selected 0.40 millimeter distance on the point clouds. Okay, so in the previous segment of the video, we were just outside with Inspire 2. We finished scanning that head. We got a really nice result, but suddenly my phone crashed. Right as we were processing, I think it was meshing it. And as it finished the meshing process, it crashed. That is not an issue with Revo Scan app. That was the issue with the RAM on my phone. It was not enough to sustain the finished meshing product of what we just scanned. So not an issue. This is an easy fix. Some phones won't have a problem with that at all, but because my phone is a little bit older, had an issue. So if you do have an older phone, you can still use Revo Scan, but you might have to try this. We're gonna import that data into the computer itself. So first of all, make sure you're on the same Wi-Fi, which we are. I already linked it up with my phone. And then on the home screen here, go to File, and you'll see the opportunity to select Import from Phone. And it's going to give you these 4 digits, 9930, or scan QR code. And then I look on Revo Scan on my phone here, so we see the head that I scanned. Click the 3 dots, and then it gives you the option of share, rename, or delete. We're going to share that. So click Share, and then Start Sharing, select that icon. So then I could input these 4 digits, or enlarge the scan, the QR code, and I could click here on my phone, scan QR code, and it makes it real easy. Scan that. And just a word of the wise to you, do not close this QR code while it is still sharing. That'll mess up the whole process. So now we see it connected successfully, and then just give it its time. And when it's finished, it should just pop up on the computer screen. Transfer completed. Great. You can close this icon. Gives you the option if you want to transfer more. We don't. We just wanted to transfer that one result. And there you have it. There is the previous data of what we scanned with Inspire 2 earlier when we were outside. So now I can go ahead, click complete on my phone. Honestly, I can close this Revo Scan on my phone, and I don't need to use it anymore because it is successfully on the PC. Now, as I mentioned before the phone crashed, it had already successfully meshed it. But something else I want to show you, and I should bring this out too, the benefit of no matter what transferring your data onto the PC, the benefit is you'll always have more options. You probably realized as I was editing it, the fusion option, the mesh option, it doesn't have all these icons that you can select, and it doesn't let you adjust the fusion and the mesh as much as you would like to, that you can on the PC. And also the selector tools, I think it only had the lasso and the triangular ones, but now on the PC we have all these options. So that automatically makes it nicer to just use it on the PC. But let's fill some holes because we still got this hole at the bottom, so we can still select this besides just leaving it as it is. Let's use this option. Click fill holes. Now select the whole piece. Detect. And we'll do curved first of all. And then you can always have the option of deselecting what you do not want to fill with the curved option. So I actually do not want to do curve setting for the bottom. So here again, I can just select the top. And it'll select all those, apply for curved. But we still have the bottom open, so again, we can select that. But let's switch it now back to plain, and then I'll close that off. Really nice. And there we have it, our finished product. That would have been a little bit trickier if we would have continued using Revo Scan in the app, but switching it over to the computer itself gave us a really nice result. Okay, so for the next bit of the video, the information I want to share with you. So, Inspire 2, it is actually capable of using laser mode outside. We were just using feature mode earlier. But what you have to do, you can't rely on the Revo Scan software for that because you're using a laser, you need to still use the PC. So you might be thinking, well, that doesn't make sense. Then you have to be connected up to the PC and you're not going to have the flexibility that you'd have with Revo Scan. It's not an issue. You would just have to use Revo Mirror. So that is quite simple. You just need to simply hook it up to Revo Mirror, then you're going to be mirroring on your phone what you're seeing on the PC. So as long as you're within a reasonable distance from the PC, it'll allow you to use laser mode scanning something outside. So that's huge. And if you want to do that, just remember, I want to show you this. So you would click on marker scan. Wait till it opens up. It's just under right here. So right now it's general. You can still select outdoor objects. But again, just have to use Revo Mirror while doing it. But so for now, I want to scan this panel. And what I really want to show you now is the improved rendering technology that we have in the software. It is drastically different and also increased FPS. So let's select black object. We got our paralines, marker tracking, and we have this panel here. And something else I want to share with you. If you ever find yourself scanning an item, I'm going to put these bars under just to raise this little edge up a little more in front of me so it's easier to cut it later. If you ever find yourself scanning a piece that is losing tracking, you want to add some of these markers, the domes, the balls, the pyramids. But you might be thinking, well, if once I add them, I can't rotate the item around. You actually can. So you can collect the data of the tricky part that you're losing tracking and then pause the scanner. Then you can remove these and continue scanning in the areas that you weren't losing tracking in. It'll make more sense as I start scanning, but for now, let's just put them here. Because this part is a little tricky. So there's not as many markers in that area. So something I want to bring out right away, as I mentioned, the rendering process has improved. You can see it changes this nice color. The color sequence is a little different from what it used to be. Once it collects enough point clouds, it has this nice like aqua blue to it, which looks great. And also, notice this, as I move up here on the panel, this was a car door panel. where the speaker portion was. Maybe previously you'd be scanning over this and there'd be a ton of noise. And you wouldn't even be able to that accurately see what you've scanned already, because you'd be having all this noise collecting above the surface that you scanned. But because of the improved rendering technology that we have in the software, honestly, it's crystal clear. Then plus, as you can see on the home screen, it says 86 FPS right now. So that used to maybe be around 40, 50, and we all know FPS is so important when scanning because it's going to prevent it from being so choppy. And it also will help you not lose tracking as often. So those are the big improvements that we're seeing right now in the software, and you're going to love it. Okay, so now going to what I mentioned earlier, I have these markers here. Without them, I was kind of having a hard time scanning this edge. But now that they're here, it's not losing tracking as much. And then as I pause later and rotate it, you'll see what I was talking about, how it's okay that you take them away. But first of all, get these areas that are kind of tricky before we pause and rotate. So like right there, I put down those marker balls just because it's kind of a narrow, skinny spot. Without them, it would be losing tracking. So let's get that real nice. Okay, so then just pause it. Then we can get these out of here. And honestly, it's fine. You're gonna see as I rotate this, they'll still be on the screen, but they've been useful because they helped us collect the data from that tricky part there. And I'm not really bothering trying to get the edge of this piece right here, but the same logic could be used. I could actually, after just pausing it, put a few more blocks over here, and I could continue rotating it over, and it would capture these pieces. And then later, once I've captured the side properly, I could take them away. The issue is if you literally have your piece surrounded by the marker balls, the domes, the triangles, and then I start rotating this while it's surrounded by them. That is not cool. It would only work, of course, if you were on a turntable and having place. They would have to move in unison. But since I'm just putting a couple here, then scanning over here, removing them, then putting some over here, it is possible that way. All right, then I'm just going to get this edge a little bit closer to me. And that's pretty good. Let's process this, complete. keep it at 0.40, point cloud distance or point distance. Okay. Here we go after the fusing process. It's definitely got to cut out the table a little bit, so that's why I kind of raised it up, make it a little easier in the front. Use one of our selector tools for that. Should be able to splice it just right there. Reverse it. Delete. Very nice. Deselect the selector tool and I'll run it through isolation. Should pick up those little bit of the domes, marker domes in the front. Very nice. Do some overlap detection. Then let's mesh it. And there we have it, that beautiful result. Wow. Again, Inspire 2, $400 scanner. Look at the detail on where the speaker would be on the car door. Looks great, nice texture. Pretty happy with that. See some areas here that there's some holes that I could have spent more time scanning on from different angles. But all in all, beautiful result. There you have it, everybody. The Inspire 2. First time we've actually had a scanner that successfully can scan things outside, and it is one of our cheapest scanners at that. You saw the proof is in the pudding. You saw us do it earlier in the video, successfully did it, but of course ran into problems because my phone didn't have enough RAM on it, but not an issue, it just can import that information onto the computer itself, continue the process. And if you want to use laser mode and scan something with markers on it outside, you can also do that, but of course you'd have to use a Revo mirror. So I hope you found this video helpful, and we'll see you in the next one.